In an old, decaying mansion that stood at the edge of a forgotten town, a chilling legend had long been whispered among the locals. The mansion, known as the Holleridge Estate, had been shrouded in mysteries and eerie stories for generations. The tale revolved around an antique porcelain doll that resided in the mansion's attic, a doll that was said to have a life of its own. The mansion, with its crumbling facade and overgrown gardens, had once been a grand and beautiful place, but the years had not been kind, and now it stood as a stark reminder of its faded glory. It was in this mansion that young Emily Sullivan had spent her early years. Her parents were caretakers of the estate, charged with maintaining the sprawling grounds and the eerie rooms that echoed with history. Emily, an only child, was an innocent and imaginative girl. She would often explore the mansion's numerous rooms and secret passages, but her favorite place was the attic, a dusty and forgotten space filled with trunks of old clothes and forgotten heirlooms. It was in the attic that Emily first discovered the porcelain doll, perched atop an ornate wooden chest. The doll was a work of art with ivory skin, delicate features, and a dress adorned with lace and silk. It had an almost ethereal quality, its painted blue eyes and rosy cheeks capturing the innocence of youth. From the moment Emily set eyes on it, she was entranced. She named the doll Eloise and decided to keep her as her secret friend. The peculiar thing about Eloise was that she seemed to come to life at night. Emily would wake in the quiet darkness to hear faint whispers and giggles emanating from the attic. When she ventured up the creaky stairs to investigate, she would find Eloise sitting in a different position from the night before, her gaze fixed upon her. Emily never told her parents about these strange occurrences, thinking it might be her overactive imagination. As the years passed, Emily and Eloise's bond deepened. Antes. The doll would share secrets with Emily, stories of the mansion's history, tales of love and tragedy that had unfolded within its walls. It was as if Eloise held the memories of the mansion itself. Emily cherished these nightly rendezvous and the feeling that she shared a special connection with the doll. Yet as she entered her teenage years, the nature of Eloise's whispers began to change. What were once tales of beauty and romance became twisted and dark. The stories grew sinister, and the doll's voice, once sweet and melodious, took on a more malevolent tone. It spoke of secrets long buried, of ghosts that walked the mansion's halls at night, and of a malevolent presence that dwelled in the shadows. Emily tried to distance herself from Eloise, locking the doll away in the attic, but its influence was not so easily banished. At night, she would still hear its eerie whispers, even from the confines of her room. Eloise's tales grew darker, revealing details of the mansion's dark past and the malevolent spirits that roamed its corridors. One particularly stormy night, when the wind howled through the mansion and rain beat against the windows, Emily awoke to find Eloise at her bedside. The porcelain doll's once rosy cheeks now bore an ashen pallor, and its eyes gleamed with an unsettling darkness. Emily felt an overwhelming compulsion to listen to its whisperings. "Eloise," she whispered, "what do you want from me?" The doll's eerie voice hissed in reply, "I want you to join me, Emily, in eternity, to embrace the spirits that reside within these walls." Terror surged through Emily's veins. She tried to scream, but her voice was stifled. It was as if an invisible hand had tightened around her throat. The room grew darker, and shadows seemed to crawl across the walls. She felt an otherworldly presence encroaching upon her, a presence she couldn't resist. As she surrendered to the malevolent force, she became aware of the spirits that Eloise had spoken of, the tormented souls of those who had lived and died in the mansion. They swirled around her, whispering words of despair and madness. Their spectral hands reached out, and she felt herself being pulled into their dark embrace. The days turned to months, and Emily's parents grew increasingly concerned about their daughter's erratic behavior. She had become a recluse, seldom leaving her room, and when she did, It was only to visit the attic where Eloise resided. Her once joyful demeanor had turned somber and brooding, and her eyes held a vacant, haunted look. One evening, as the moon hung low in the sky, Emily's parents decided to confront her. They made their way to the attic, fearing what they might find. What they saw shook them to their very core. Emily sat on the attic floor, surrounded by candles that cast eerie shadows across the walls. Her eyes were fixed on Eloise, and in her hand she held a knife. Before her lay a tattered journal, filled with incantations and sigils, all written in an unfamiliar language. Eloise's voice, emanating from the doll with a ghastly intensity, whispered a chilling incantation. Emily chanted along, her voice a hollow echo of her former self. The room grew colder, and the atmosphere filled with an oppressive energy. In that moment, her parents realized the extent of their daughter's descent into madness. They rushed forward to intervene, but it was too late. Emily, under the sinister influence of the doll, plunged the knife into her own chest. Her lifeless body fell to the floor, and Eloise remained perched atop the wooden chest, untouched and unmoved. The mansion, steeped in darkness and despair, claimed yet another victim. The legend of the haunted doll, once a whisper among the townspeople, had now taken a life, and the mansion's malevolent presence grew stronger. Years passed, and the mansion became a place shunned by the living. Its legend spread like wildfire, warning anyone who dared approach its foreboding gates. Yet within its walls, Eloise and the tormented spirits found a sick sort of solace, eternally bound to a cursed existence. Emily's name was forgotten by the world, as was her tragic tale. But the legend of the forgotten doll lived on, a dark reminder of the price one could pay for delving too deeply into the mysteries of the past, and of the malevolent forces that could be awakened within the crumbling walls of the Hollow Ridge estate.